Hi there. I'm going to discuss how to ensure continuity of data and knowledge within the property management industry. So, first, what do we see going wrong in the entire real estate industry trying to ensure building compliancy, continuity of data and documents? So, first, what you really have to understand is that landlords and property managers, they have to work really well together, but they work in two different companies, different locations, and they have different ways of working. So the landlord has a version of the building on their system. They store all the documents, all the files on their own server. But the property manager does exactly the same thing, but in a slightly different way. And the result is that if you have questions about data, if you want to get access to a document, then you always revert back to email and sending emails and Excel PDF files back and forth. This just doesn't work, and no one knows who's really responsible for keeping all the documentation up to date, making sure that the latest files are saved in the right place. And especially, you'll find out that when employees leave the job for another company, that a lot of qualitative information and knowledge about the properties, about the service providers, the maintenance companies, the tenants is also lost in their own personal email inbox. So it might happen that when you sell a building and at that moment you find out like, oh, right, we find out that the fire safety certification is not in order, or the roof fall safety is not in order, and that you have to resolve this really quickly during the vendor due diligence. In almost every company, you see that people have their own way of working, their own templates, their own folder structures. But also, if you hire a property management company or you work with an asset management company, one person might make a super extensive Excel file, and the other one just sends out an email really quickly with the information. So, what is the biggest mistake people actually make in the real estate industry, trying to ensure building data continuity and building compliancy? So, what I see time and again is that landlords force their property management companies to use data rooms as a document management system during the operational period in real estate. And this just doesn't work because it creates so much extra work for a property manager that they have to store all their files, which they still keep storing in their own server. They also store this now in this data room system, and they don't do anything else in that system than just storing the files. Therefore, it's super prone to human errors, and where you can just forget to store a file. And those systems don't really help the end user in any way. It's if you see that the end user is a property manager, they don't do any of their daily work in that system. The system isn't smart, that you don't have automated reminders or compliancy scores or any workflows to help the property manager in their daily work. So what is the holy grail then in the real estate industry? If you want to ensure that building compliancy and the data continuity across the entire operational period? Well, in my view, the only way of solving all these issues is by working with the landlord and the property manager in the same centralized system. Because if you don't, you always revert back to email, sending Excel files and PDF files by email. And you'll find out that when the property manager or an asset manager leaves the company, that you'll lose a lot of qualitative knowledge and data about the company, the assets, the way of working, service providers, and especially tenants. What is really important that if you start using this centralized system and you actually work together in the same system, is that it's you don't only store files and data, but you also collaborate in the same system. Because if you only use it to store data, then if you have a question about a maintenance plan, a project, certificate, then you'll still revert back to either phone or email. So what you really want to do is to collaborate at the source of the data around the certificate, around the document, the floor plan itself. Leave your comments, feedback there, communicate there, so that whenever something happens to the company or people leave, that everything is still centralized. So thank you for listening to the first version of this Property Portfolio Unleashed series, We'll also be joined by industry experts talking about all these different issues in the industry and how people and companies change this, improve this. So we'd love to hear from you how you work, what kind of system do you use. Please share your thoughts and insights on this topic with us. Thank you for listening. Cheers.